Ever wondered how a self-driving car actually sees the road? Or how a robot in a warehouse knows exactly which box to pick up? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on these machines that literally think for themselves. We're going to deconstruct how these intelligent, autonomous systems really work, from their senses all the way to the decisions they make.
And this first idea is huge. We're not talking about your standard factory robot arm that just does the same thing over and over. This is about adaptive intelligence. We're talking about machines that can handle the unexpected, learn from what's going on around them, and make choices on the fly.
All right, so let's get on the same page. What are we really talking about when we say autonomous system? Let's lock in a super clear definition and then look at where these incredible machines are already out there, changing the world right now.
At its heart, it really boils down to three core abilities. First, a machine has to perceive the world around it. It has to see, to sense. Then it has to reason about what it's seeing to come up with a plan. And finally, it has to act on that plan. Perceive, reason, act. That is the fundamental loop that engineers are building into every single one of these systems.
And believe me, this isn't some far-off science fiction. It is happening all around us. You see it in self-driving cars navigating busy streets, in drones that inspect bridges, and even in surgical robots that help doctors in the operating room. From the warehouse floor to rovers on Mars, this tech is already here.
So, how in the world do they do it? It's time to open up the black box. We're going to take a look at the different layers that make up an autonomous system, from its physical body all the way up to its digital brain. Okay, so this is what's called the autonomy stack. It all starts with the physical hardware, the robot itself. Information flows up from its sensors, gets processed through different layers, and then a decision gets made way up at the top by the AI. That decision then flows back down, telling the control layer exactly how to move. The entire cycle is built around that core loop we're going to keep coming back to: perception, planning, and control.
So let's start with that first and maybe most critical step, perception. How does a machine actually sense its environment? You can kind of think of it as giving the machine a set of superhuman senses.
Each sensor brings a unique piece of the puzzle to the table. Cameras, for example, are amazing at identifying objects, like spotting a stop sign. LiDAR, on the other hand, builds a super precise 3D map of everything around it. An IMU tells the system if it's tilting or turning, while radar is a rock star for measuring the speed of other cars. Each one has its own special job.
Which, of course, leads to a really important question. You've got all this different data flying in: light from a camera, laser points from LiDAR, radio waves from radar. How does the machine possibly turn all that noise into one single, coherent picture of the world?
Well, the answer is a technique called sensor fusion, and this is where the real magic happens inside the system's brain. It's the process of intelligently blending all those different data streams together to create a single, reliable picture that is way more accurate than any one sensor could ever be on its own. Now, engineers use some pretty sophisticated algorithms to pull this off. We won't get lost in the math here, but think of them as smart statistical tools. They let the machine weigh the evidence from each sensor, kind of like a detective looking at different clues, to make the absolute best guess about what's really happening out there in the world.
Okay, let's move on to the next layer and see how this all builds up. Now that the machine has this clear picture of the world, how does it decide what to do next? This is where we get into the planning and decision-making part of the brain.
It all comes down to a really simple but incredibly powerful formula. The final decision is a combination of what the system perceives, what it predicts other things will do, and the path it plans to take. See, it's not just reacting, it's anticipating. To make this a bit more real, let's just compare two common ways of planning. An algorithm like A*, that's perfect when you have a map. It's like your GPS finding the absolute shortest route through a city. But what if you're exploring an unknown place, like a rover on Mars? You'd use something called RRT, which is designed to quickly find any workable path, even if it's not the shortest. You see, different problems need different ways of thinking.
So the system has seen the world and it's made a plan. The final step is control. And you can think of this as the machine's nervous system and its muscles all rolled into one. It's the layer that translates that digital plan into precise, physical movements, turning the steering wheel just so, applying the brakes, or positioning a robotic arm with millimeter accuracy.
So now that we kind of get the theory, let's make this practical. For anyone out there who's feeling inspired to actually build these systems, what does it really take? Let's look at the tools you'd use and the kind of career path you could expect.
This is basically the modern autonomous engineer's toolkit. You have frameworks like ROS2,
That's the robot operating system, and it acts like the central nervous system for everything to communicate. You've got languages like C++ for things that need to be super fast, and Python for all the AI stuff. You'll also see computer vision, or CV, libraries for understanding images, and simulators like Carla are absolutely crucial for testing things out safely in a virtual world.
And what's cool is that there's a really clear path for growth in this field. You might start out as an intern, then become an engineer working on the whole system. As you get more experience, you could specialize in a key area like perception or planning, and eventually move into a leadership role as an architect, designing the entire next generation of these intelligent machines.
Okay, let's bring it all home. If you remember just one thing from all this, make it this: perception, planning, and control. That is the fundamental cycle. It is the very heartbeat of every single autonomous system, from a little delivery bot all the way to the most advanced self-driving car.
And I want to leave you with this final insight, because it's a small but really important shift in thinking. We're not just building mechanical robots anymore. We are building intelligent agents that make decisions out in the real world.
So, for anyone looking to really excel in this space, the key is to think in complete systems, not just isolated little parts. It's all about merging the world of AI with the hardcore demands of real-time control, always putting safety first, and of course, getting your hands dirty with the actual tools of the trade.
And that brings us to the end. We've deconstructed the intelligent machine, from its senses to its brain to its muscles. So the only question left is, now that you have the blueprint, what kind of world-changing autonomous system would you build?